answering your questions about retirement. It's Money Talk with Michael Eastham.
I'm closing in on retirement, trying to reduce my risk. Can I just use bond funds to reduce my stock market risk?
Wow, we're getting a lot of questions about bond funds lately, and I totally understand. Is it going to reduce your risk? And should that be the only thing that you do to reduce your risk? Well, that is a loaded question. Here's the interesting thing, and I've seen a lot of portfolio allocations where many advisors will say, well, if you want to reduce your risk, well, we'll just move you over to these conservative bond funds. Well, remember what the definition of a bond fund is. The definition is the stock of a company that owns bonds. You see, you don't even own those bonds. And all of the benefits, or many of the key benefits of owning an individual bond, like a contract for income and a maturity date where you get your principal back, those are gone when you own a bond fund. So that means that you're really subject to the ups and downs of the stock market. You're also subject to the ebbs and flows and the liquidity needs of the other investors in that bond fund. That means that you can lose money in a bond fund a lot easier than you think. In other words, you might reduce your risk, but let's say you're in an aggressive portfolio that if the market crashes by 50%, you'll experience all of that 50% loss. But you push some of your money over to a bond fund thinking, wow, bonds are less risky than stocks. Well, in a bond fund, yeah, you might reduce your risk, but you might only reduce your risk by 10 or 15%. So if the stock market drops by 50% and you lose 35%, is that the amount of risk reduction that you thought you were taking? In most cases, that is not the case. So you'll want to make sure that you understand the potential risk that exists in your portfolio, even if you have bond funds. A better solution if you want to use bonds might be to use individual bonds or an actively managed portfolio of individual bonds. And in order to do that, you've got to make sure that whoever your advisor is specializes in the universe of income generating investments, because there are a lot of tricks that you need to understand before you dive into the world of bonds. It's not as easy as just saying, hey, this bond fund did pretty well for the last 5 years. That means it's going to do well for the next 5. That is a fallacy, and that's what you want to make sure you avoid. Understanding bond funds is a great reason to reach out to us so that we can help you to make sure that you've got the asset allocation in your portfolio that's going to support your goals and isn't in direct conflict with them. Give us a call today. We'll be happy to sit down with you. Thanks so much for that question.